this is Lucy and welcome to another Fallout 76 Building 101 episode. Today we are in the forest near Gorge Junkyard. You may have seen a sneak preview of this camp if you watched my thank you for 1,000 subscribers video, but if not, I'll give you a quick tour. This camp is based on a real tiny house in Australia, and it has a completely walled garden. I used the jail cell gate or door because it was the only one I thought looked like a gate. I'm calling this the kitchen garden house for obvious reasons. I have pretty much all the crops in here that I could find or I can plant, and I've interspersed them with a few pots. I've put my mute fruit in pots using the rug trick. I have left all the workbenches out. It makes them easier to use. If you'd rather have a separate workshop, then I'm sure it could be added. This house is all about the kitchen. It's all about entertaining, I guess. It has an open kitchen hatch bar to the sitting room. I've used these weapons displays as knife racks. It also gives a bit of contrast to the white tile. I haven't gone for any particular theme, I've kind of left it a little eclectic. But obviously whoever lives in this house likes to cook. Obviously I've used the Western bar set to create these counters, and I put the counters in before the walls. Or I took the walls out and put the counters in so that they will clip. You can't clip them through the walls, you have to clip the wall through them. It's quite a large sort of sitting area. I think I counted you can get 21 people in here, so definitely a party house. I've used these little benches as side tables. I think you could probably still sit on them. No, you can't. Oh, that's good. That is good. Obviously having the higher ceilings gives you a sense of sort of space. And I've got more Chinese robots. This is the bathroom. The bedroom is quite small. Whoever lives here actually lives on their own, but most of the living is done out here, and I'm sure if you had friends over you could get a couple of them sleeping on this sofa. I mean, obviously if you wanted to do the half bathroom trick here, you could have the bathroom off the bedroom and have the bedroom 1.5 squares, but if you wanted a bigger bedroom. Or you could just make the house slightly bigger. It's not a complicated build, but I will show you a few tricks that make it easier. The electrics are powered from two separate sources. There is a generator on the roof, but I didn't want to drag cables all the way along the walls, and you can't unfortunately put power conduits on top of the walls, vertical ones. So I Did my usual trick of my little conduit on a planter in 2 of these walls here, and I actually I merged a generator with this stash box. You can see the wire there. So I will show you how to do that. There is also a new trick I learnt from a viewer where you can do a double wall without having to use 2 foundations, because obviously this telegraph pole would be in the way for putting another foundation on the other side. I have had a few problems with this camp with those white fluffy plants coming through, although it's behaving today. So you will need to use confetti to suppress the weeds. But other than that, it is pretty straightforward. So let's get to it. Right, I've moved my camp and moved back to this spot, and we'll start with the foundations. I try and line the foundation up with the line on the road, although there is a bit of a curve here, so I wouldn't worry too much about getting it completely straight, as long as it's we had this sort of 3 foundation stack at the beginning, and then we will be building a 4x5 grid. I am going to put some confetti down just to show you. Confetti is a plan that you can get from doing Fashionat, which is actually, it is February 2021, and Fashionat is currently on at the moment. The other thing you can always do if you don't have confetti is you can sometimes get away with little doormats, and the other alternative, although I don't think it looks as nice, is you can obviously raise your foundations above the level of the detritus. There we go, that's my big word for today. Right, there we go. We have, not including the front 3, we have 4 wide and 5 deep. That's 2 for the house and 3 for the garden. Right, now I am going to add the walls. As I'm using the metal set, this camp would probably work quite well in a high level area. Now, as you can see, I can't get another foundation here, so I am going to try a trick from a viewer called, and my German is appalling, so I'm probably mispronouncing this horribly, Scheinweltername. If that's wrong, please let me know. You build a doorway and you put a door in, and then you convert the doorway to a wall, and then remove the wall, leaving the door. And you can see there that wall is flipped, it's the wrong way round. So you place it down, remove the door, and you can get another doorway on. So you now have a double wall without a second foundation. I'm going to continue round all the way around the build now like this, although I probably will use the traditional method. Right, now I'm going to convert all of these doorways into walls, apart from this first one. These two walls at the back are going to be windows, so I've put those in as windows. The rest are just plain walls, and I'm going to wallpaper them. Obviously you can use whatever wallpaper you like. I like this grey stone. So I have covered the entire camp inside and out with this stone wall. I've decided, because it's actually dry and there isn't a thunderstorm or rainstorm, I'm actually going to work through the night. So I've set up some floodlights. If you haven't seen this before, you can actually put a power connector on top of a generator to give a quick movable ambient power source. I am going to put my turret out in case we get disturbed. And I'm going to put the gate on. I'm going to put the walls of the house up. The outside is going to be 2 metal windows. This doorway here and this doorway here are the glass pieces, but I'm going to leave them off for a little bit, and I will explain why as I go. We're going to also need a few internal walls, which I always use the barn set, despite Mr. Church hating the barn set. I like these. These look like internal. Doorways to me with the white when you put wallpaper on them. So there we have our bedroom and bathroom. Now, because this has 1.5, it's 1.5 pieces tall, we're going to have to double wall half pieces, which means getting out our trusty flamethrower trap. So if you've seen the Scandi house, it's similar construction to that. So I don't get confused, I always start with the walls facing inwards. Now, the reason I didn't put the glass in is I have noticed recently that if you try and double wall above a single wall, it won't let you do it, even if you have the piece of wood behind it. So, but it will let you if there's nothing there. Right, let's flame a trap all of these. I do normally try and do two walls at the same time, but the metal is quite thick, so this doesn't always work. So just go around and flame a trap all these walls. Don't forget to keep an eye on the health of your flamer trap, because if it breaks, it takes resources. If the flamethrower trap health bar gets low, you can just store it, and when you get it back out, it'll be repaired. You don't actually, in this instance, because these have double walls underneath, you do not actually need this, I've just noticed. There we go. So you can just put your walls in. Now on this one where there is no wall underneath, you will need it. Right, so we can go around now and just repair the walls we flamer trapped. We also need the walls for the bedroom and bathroom. I'm going to just be consistent with my and use these because they're internal. Hopefully we'll be able to two for this. I can get it straight. No. Yep. And we will also need to do the one in the middle. If you don't have marsupial and you get stuck in somewhere like this, just build a stash box to jump on. There we go. Now obviously I haven't done to the far wall because we're going to be putting the sloped glass roof in. So I'm now just going to remove these upper floors. I can't remove this piece. I think it was because it wants to have a wall here. So I'm going to put in the glass doorway. That's not the glass doorway. Okay. And same here. Now I have found that you can, it's obviously a build order thing. Just going to put a temporary wall there. You can remove these obviously because I made the hatch. You can't remove them at the moment, but if you put these roofs in, kind of holds the whole thing together, I guess. I used these green roofs, if I can find them. Okay. Now we should be able to remove this wall. There we go. Now, if you want to put the breakfast bar in and intersect it with this wall, or the bar, or the kitchen counter, or whatever you want to call it. The crappy piece of wood that Bethesda gave us to simulate a kitchen counter that only comes in one that will tile, and yeah. I'd really like this in sort of a brushed metal, it might be quite nice. I think I started at this end. I'm going to take these walls off. Yep, you can have all of this. Even though you can't attach a wall to a roof anymore, it obviously understands that there's a dependency and it's sort of holding it up. Getting these straight can be a bit tricky. And that is definitely not straight. I really do not understand why things move towards you. If you're trying to, you know, be precise and reposition something, having it move towards you just seems ridiculous. Right. Now, this may take some finagling. Because I created that little thing with the sink here, I actually took that piece out there. Right, the other thing you have to make sure is that the walls will go back on. And that'll be a no. Right, the wall will go on there. It's this end we've got a problem with. And I do think that it is too far over this side. So this is how you do it. Anyway, I'm not going to spend hours showing you. I think it's just a matter of finessing it. And I think actually we're probably alright just with that. I'm going to put the glass doorway back in. I'm going to put the triangular piece back in. I really wish they'd put all the pieces together, it makes so much more sense to me. I think that one is actually the right way around now. If you want a glass piece at the top here, you can put put a temporary wall in. Because again, it's all connected to this roof. Now, the wallpapers I used for this, and I drove most of my friends probably insane because I really struggled to find wallpaper that I wanted on the outside and the inside of this build. I used this one. No, I didn't. I used this one. And this one for the top. I used white tile in the kitchen. I use this red for the walls and the patterned red wallpaper for the top. Oh, I failed to repair one of these. The bedroom was cream, and I think it had a blue or a grey upper, and the bathroom was the cream as well. And I think I used the green on the top to go with the painting. Just realised that needs to be a wall. Obviously I changed the floors in here to wood. And I am actually thinking lately, I've always used just the base floor and then decided what I want. You can't tell what direction it's going, and sometimes these floors will not switch direction. So I think from now on in my builds I'm actually going to use... It says it's the... I have had an awful problem lately with the swap function. It's not always working. Like for an example now, on the top left it's showing me that that is the blonde wood, but it's not swapping it. For the garden area, I changed these tiles to crop plots. And the other thing I said I would show you was how I did the power conduits over here. I'm going to turn these doorways back into walls temporarily. And this one. I am going to get my little blueprinted power conduit on a plant pot. I am going to connect it to my generator. Then, highlighting the pot, I'm going to move it. Now what I did was I got a regular stash box. And if you've seen this trick, a friend told me about it a couple of weeks ago. Inov Survivalist has recently done a video. She said that you had to wire this up. That has not been my experience. This is a merge trick. Now, if you have a camp where you don't have an area of ground that you can merge in, you can use this. The only thing is I've found is that you have to stand on it, because you have to lower it. This is what's creating the merge. You're lowering this pressure plate by standing on it. Then you select the box and just keep pressing A. Now the beauty of this is that it means you can merge things in shelters, but it also, because it is only a very small amount and it's a consistent amount, gives you a lot more fine control. Probably go one more. I'm not sure I need it. And there we go. We have a generator in a stash box. So I'm going to put the stash box here. Don't forget when connecting these that you have to move it that once to make it work. And then I'm just going to do another one in the other doorway. Connect it, select pot, move it once, and then you can move it anywhere. And just to prove it's working, of course it won't work now. It will work. I'm just going to put a lamp up here, and there we go, a wall light. So there you have it. Obviously decorate however you like. I'm starting to think maybe I should have called this the Herbivores Camp, or the Herbivores Cabin. I would suggest when you finish building that you go around the outside and check that all your walls look neat. Obviously you need to put wallpaper on the tops. I quite often build camps and then I'll think they're finished and someone will say, did you know you haven't put wallpaper on that piece, or it's not finished. So always check the outside of your camp. So I think that's it. That is the build. If you have any questions or suggestions or complaints or anything else, please feel free to comment. I think next time for Scarlet, I think I might build a log cabin. I have an idea, and I also have a really good building spot that I haven't built in for a while, and I haven't shown you. It's one of my secret spots. So I'll probably be doing that next time on Scarlet. I'm building something in a shelter on my main character at the moment. It's kind of a secret. So, but it's working. So that'll probably be the next video, I think. So there we go. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you for watching.